Welcome to The Sound, KQAL FM's weekly behind-the-scenes look at Minnesota-made music. From writing and recording to distribution and promotion, The Sound is your source for new releases and exclusive interviews from Minnesota artists. Support for The Sound is made possible by a grant from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Rolling. Today on The Sound, we dig into True Story, the latest album from Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball. True Story is a heartfelt collection of midwestern country songs that take an honest look at the life of a musician, dealing with subjects ranging from addiction to love, women troubles, and growing up in the Midwest. Stick around as Gregg Hall joins us to discuss his new album, True Story, on The Sound.
Some call me an outlaw, some use other names. More like Waylon Jennings and less like Jesse James. Time has come for me to settle down, find a woman to call my own. I want a pretty brunette-haired girl tonight to take me home. Hey! Stay away from blondes because of the money that I save. I've seen them turn full-grown men to pathetic little slaves. And the redheads drive me crazy, and that's all I have to say. I want a pretty brunette-haired girl that loves to hear my name. I want a pretty brunette-haired girl to live out all my days. Barroom trash that consumed my yesterday. One who stands by her man with a heart that's kind and true. I want a pretty brunette-haired girl to sing my love songs too.
And that was Brunette. That's off of Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball's new album called True Story. And we have Gregg Hall with us on the phone today. Hey, Gregg, how you doing?
I'm well, bro. How's it going?
Good, real good. Just want to say, fantastic release show the other day. You played Driftless Music Gardens for a drive-in concert, which was my first time experiencing something like that. But fantastic performance. Yeah. I mean, I loved the drive-in aspect too, just because you could just kind of sit and chill in your own area with a cooler and a grill, you know, and hear good tunes. But yeah, awesome performance, man. Totally loved it. And you know, I just kind of want to start maybe towards the beginning. Like, you know, you've been a part of the lacrosse music scene for quite some time now. How did you get your start playing music and get into the scene and stuff?
Well, you know, I've been, you know, playing guitar, you know, since I was about 9 years old. And, you know, everybody does their high school garage bands. And then I hooked up locally with my best friend, Lucas Hemd. His father, Randy, and his uncle, Billy, were very avid in, like, the local blues scene. Mm-hmm. And just, you know, singer-songwriter kind of stuff, too. So we just kind of they kind of got my foot in the door, you know. And then the rest is kind of history. Me and Luke, we still play out. He's one of my best friends. We still play out every once in a while. But kind of got started there, and then I went to college at Stout, did an acoustic cafe gig, you know, and then that got the ball rolling. And then, you know,
cool.
You know, then it's just all of a sudden having this really cool thing that we can make money at and have fun, and you know, it was exciting, you know.
Totally. You know, so you said you went to school in Stout. What brought you back to lacrosse? You know, a lot of times musicians move away.
Yeah, you know? I just, you know, there's something about this place. It's magical. I mean, the rolling hills and the river, and my parents got a farm. My roots are here. Mm-hmm. So, I knew that this was my home base anyway. So, and I went back to school. I went to UWL and I went to TC. So. Mm-hmm. You know, we had the Smoking Bandits and Mickey Evers band back in those days. So, you know, this is my hometown. This is where I grew up, and I still my roots here. And then we still got out and we toured with the Smoking Bandits. I toured with Nicholas David and the Fema Band, White Iron Band. I mean, we got we made the rounds. You know,
Mhm.
we always come back. I always like to come back here,
Right.
just because, you know, I mean, you live here.
Yeah.
The Driftless is, there's just something magical about it, and it just keeps me grounded here.
Totally. Well, I was going to say, too, that personally, I love river towns, you know, and
Yeah.
I think there's something special going on here in like La Crosse, Winona area, you know.
Yep.
Definitely. I want to get back to some tunes, but before that, I just want to ask another question. You've also kind of straddled the line between like covers and originals, you know? I mean, I've
Yep.
seen you do both at shows. Why not one or the other? And what's the thinking behind that?
Well, I like to play covers.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's basically what it is.
Cool. Yeah, this is fun,
you know,
right?
Because, you know, everybody, you know, because it's good to play your own stuff, you know, and then throwing something in there that everybody knows just kind of keeps, for me, it was just, it keeps on our toes. And actually, and like I said, I love Neil Young and Bob Dylan and the Dead, and I just like to play this. I like to play cover songs. I mean, that's my explanation.
Cool.
You know, and then throwing that, you know, I try to keep it original, heavy. It all depends on the situation too, you know,
Right.
on the gig and all that kind of stuff. Because like, as a musician, like I can't just take the gigs that like Driftless music. You know, you kind of gotta do the coffee shops, and you gotta do the ambiance kind of background music thing. Cause you gotta kind of have your head on a swivel. If you don't want to have a day job,
Right.
you really kind of gotta adapt to those situations. And sometimes they call for covers, and sometimes they call for original. You kind of it's good to be able to be diverse and play whatever crowd that you're playing for.
Right.
That's how it kind of keeps me in business as covers too, in a way. You know.
Yeah.
I own a company called Deets Production.
Mm-hmm.
We've done several tribute shows. Basically, the tribute shows for me help me maintain my originality by, you know, making the money off those to pay for the original music that I'm putting out there, you know, because it's hard, you know, it's easier to get people to call, hey, I'm doing all Neil Young tonight. You know,
right.
instead of, hey, I'm playing all Gregg Hall songs. I mean, eventually I'm going to get there. I mean, that's the goal, but, you know, it's good to have those sources of income.
Definitely.
Because we got to make money to support our creativity and our originality, and sometimes that's just hard to do right off the bat, you know, trying to get started. You know, it takes a while to develop. I mean, for some people, it happens faster than, you know, it's just kind of luck of the draw and just put in the work, man. And,
yeah, you got to be smart about it and have fun too, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Totally. You know, I want to cut to this next tune, but you mentioned doing the tribute shows. Yeah. And I was looking at your website, and it listed some of the tribute shows you've done in the past, and you did a tribute to one of my all-time favorite albums, Sticky Fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
What was that like? Because I love that album.
It was great. We had my buddy Ryan Torgerson on drums.
Oh, cool. I know Ryan.
yeah. Paulie, one of my best buddies.
Cool.
He was Keith. My friend Cody Apple was Mick. It was kind of cool for me. I kind of got to lay back and just play the chords, kind of be the rhythm guitar player.
Right.
Which is nice every once in a while, you know. No, that was great. And then because whenever I did those shows, like I do the whole album first set, and then the second set we kind of do like greatest hits.
Oh, cool.
So, it's always fun that, like, you know, we kind of had that formula going for a while. So,
yeah,
that was fun.
I have yet
there's songs that I already knew. Like, I always pick the artists that I already know. I already know 50 million Neil Young songs. So doing the Neil Young tribute for me,
right?
I can, you know, or Tom Petty, or, you know. So it's like a lot less work. And then you get, you know, and then what I like to do now is if I do a tribute show, every other song I play one of my own.
Oh, cool.
And, you know, nobody ever really even notices.
Right.
And it's good. Well, I got you all here. Guess what? You're hearing some of my stuff too.
Yep.
And then, you know, I think that we got some pretty catchy tunes of our own too, so nobody ever really minds.
Right. Well,
you know?
Speaking of which, let's get back to the tunes and play some more for people.
Right on.
This next one is called Good Looking Woman. And we're talking to Gregg Hall from Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball today. This is a tune from their new album called True Story. This is Good Looking Woman right here on the Sound on 89.5 KQAL Winona.
Well, I'm a good-looking man, you're a good-looking woman. Let's make love today. Tomorrow come a-finding, and I will be a-minding if you don't look my way. 'Cause all I want is all night, let's get it done right. And
And that was Good Looking Woman. That's from Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball. That's from their new album, True Story, that just came out. And we have Gregg Hall on the phone today with us. Gregg, so we played 2 tracks so far, the first 2 tracks on the album, Brunette and Good Looking Women. Or woman. Women and women troubles are kind of a common theme in country music and music in general. What else inspires you, you know?
I gotta tell you, living in this area has inspired me too. And then I just like the true story. I mean, that's what I like about that album, True Story. I mean, the songs I write are true story.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them of heartache, and everybody's gone through, like every song I write, I try to relate it to, what everybody has gone through at some point in time. Like,
right.
So like the Brunette song, this is what I'm looking for in a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting it out there.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? And then Good Looking Woman, I'm just looking for a one-nighter. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
We've all been there. We've all,
right.
Especially in the musician world.
Right.
And just making songs relatable. I mean, especially country songs. I grew up, I'm a hick, dude. I grew up in the woods. My dad has an organic farm out of Madera, so
nice.
We live off the land. I mean, we hunted the meat off our land. We drew vegetables. My dad is the most sustainable person I know. So those country music roots, and listen to my very first concert I ever went to was Johnny Cash and the Carter Family. So from a young age, I just had that country feel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I lived it.
Right.
And still, I moved to the city front, but anyway,
But I think that's good, because that comes through in the music, I think, it comes through in your tunes.
And, like George Jones and Johnny Cash and Marty Stewart are all these artists that I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
So, and then, and then high school onto the Dead and Zeppelin. And then joining White Iron Band the late 2000s kind of brought me back to like, oh, yeah, that's right. This is the stuff kind of brought me back into that wheelhouse. For lack of a better word.
Right.
It brought me back onto my roots, and those boys, and like I fit in so well with those guys, because they're the same like me, blue collar dudes that just want to get out and play. Like there was not any drama ever in that band. We just got in the van and we went and played, and we had fun.
Cool.
Like those are by far the most drama free band. Other than the new Wrecking Ball, but you're young and you're cocky and egos clash and you're
right.
Just so dumb. Like looking back on it, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Just to shut up and just play.
right. Everyone goes through it though, right?
But anyway, I mean, I totally still done. I'm going on 3 years no booze here in August. So
cool.
For me, the
Congrats.
Good Story album, like a turning point for me, because like I really put my time and effort into the right things, not only in that album but with my life too. And it's just like it seems to opens up more doors for you instead of just digging that hole of partying. You know what I mean? Like getting up out of that scene and getting up on a different level. It's
right.
Way better.
Yeah, totally.
And I want to be one of those people that's like, wow, Cheech did it. I can do it.
I can do it too. Yeah, totally.
I mean, and once you get your mind set to that's what you want to do, it's not that hard. And then once you can get past the uncomfortableness of not partying, and you can go to a show and you savor it. Like I remember Joe Price, one of my best buddies, seeing him play with sober eyes was mind blowing, because I always knew he was great, but it's like, oh my god. It's like you're looking at it through a filter, but now it's like that filter is gone, and you can really take in what he's doing and and I was just like, yes, that was, this is so much better.
Cool.
And remembering shows too, instead of just
right. That's something I enjoy, is remembering the show now.
Moderation was never a thing for me, so
right.
Living that outlaw,
Exactly. But I think you got a lot of good tunes out of it,
I did, and we had a lot of good times. I have no regrets whatsoever.
Cool.
But I'm glad that I finally kind of, like the Sober in October song. I'm sick and tired. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that was the God's honest truth.
Yep. That's
Anyway.
awesome. That's awesome. Speaking about true stories and stuff like that, the next tune I want to play is Liberty Street.
Yep.
Did you spend a lot of time on Liberty Street? Did you live there? Because it's a pretty cool story in that song.
Like I was telling you about my friend the Hems before. Well, Randy Hem was my mentor. Like my blues, like he passed away in 2002. He was my best friend's dad. He was like my rock and roll dad.
Right.
You know, like he had the tattoos and the long hair and the cool and the Harley. I'm like, that's the kind of guy. You know,
Right.
kind of like set that bar. Like, you know, like I want to be. I don't want to be him, but I want to be. That's the kind of person I want to be. Just a good person that playing music and this is the kind of style. I mean, we all, I kind of knew I wanted to be that anyway, but it's just like nice to have a mentor, somebody that had already gone through it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he lived on Liberty Street, and that's kind of where I met all this group of musicians on Liberty Street. And Randy used to write stuff down, like little notes, and he'd put in his wall, like little cool for sayings for words of song. And then the one day he showed me this one, Liberty Street, where people run away to and crazy people meet.
Oh.
And then he passed. Then he passed away
Oh, wow.
at only 47. And so I wanted to, it was almost like a remembrance of my friends. And I wrote the song. And I wrote that song when I was 20 years old. So it's an older song. And I've recorded it before, but I really wanted to bring it back, give it like a 20-year anniversary theme. And kind of, before it was like this long, jammy, we were into the Dead and Fish at that point in time. So it was like this long, jammy thing that was in the middle, but I wanted to make it more like radio-friendly, so I kind of chopped it down and made it more organic, like the way I wrote it the first time.
Cool.
And because I think a lot of people like that song, so I wanted to have a nice version of it to give people, like, because the other one that we did is like 20 years old, and it's, just 20 years old.
Right.
So I wanted to have a nice quality recording of that song. It just seems like that's one people request all the time. I can't remember. I've never not played a gig and I don't know if that came out right. I've sang that song at every gig since I wrote it. So it's one of them songs that everybody likes. And so many people are from Liberty Street. Liberty Street there's a Liberty Street in every town. Mm-hmm. And every sentence of that is a true story. All that stuff happened.
Right. Oh,
the guy that chased, he ate too much acid and he went nuts, and he would chase the bus up and down the street. You'd hear him coming. Dudes out there, all that weirdness is that little vortex in Liberty Street, this little chunk of space and time in the north side in my life. It was just, it's just kind of where it all started.
Right.
So
awesome. Well, let's hear it. We are talking to Gregg Hall today from Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball, and this next tune is from their new album, True Story. This one is Liberty Street, right here on the Sound on 89.5 KQAL Winona.
There's a little red house where I grew up with an old hippie van in a pickup truck on Liberty Street. On Liberty Street. Dad is on the front porch playing his guitar, and Uncle's in the back working on his car on Liberty Street. On Liberty Street. Sitting in a living room smoking dope, lighter, long hair on fire for a joke on Liberty Street. On Liberty Street. But it's where people run away to and crazy people meet. It's where there's bullet holes on every sign, on every street. It's where you got a place to crash every day of the week. Down on Liberty Street. There's a guy chasing the bus that ate too much acid. He's friggin' nuts on Liberty Street. On Liberty Street. We got a gig tonight at the local bar. We won't be late. Hell, ain't too far from Liberty Street. From Liberty Street. Gotta take my bike. Fancy in the shop. If you look out the window, you probably see a cop on Liberty Street. On Liberty Street. But it's where people run away to and crazy people meet. It's where there's bullet holes on every sign, on every street. It's where you got a place to crash every day of the week. Down on Liberty Street.
And that was Liberty Street. That's from Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball's new album, True Story. And we have Gregg Hall on the phone with us today. Gregg, I was reading in the La Crosse Tribune that you said releasing this album while shows are shut down because of COVID kind of helped you spend more time on the mixes. Yep. Can you explain for our listeners how that would normally work and what's different about this?
Yeah. Well, it was mixed by my friend Dylan Knopf out of Rocket Snake Records. He's in a band called Apollo Cobra. I know that they played up Winona. He mixed it. He did a fabulous job.
Cool, yeah.
But the more, what I was kind of referring to, the mastering process, we couldn't go in. My friend Michael Von Muchow is a local guy here. He's awesome. He's done amazing things with Bill Miller. Bill Miller is a local guy. He won a bunch of Grammys for Native American music, and Mike produced all those. He's got stories, man. He's the guy that I know that's been around the most. And with COVID, we couldn't go into the studio. We couldn't sit in and listen together, right? So we were just passing emails back and forth. Well, turn this up here, turn this up there. And Christian Staley of the Soul Bandits, he helped me produce the album too. But just going back and forth, which probably wouldn't have taken as long had we been able to sit together in the studio, but it was right when that hit, so we were taking all the necessary, still taking all the necessary precautions. So that process just took a little bit longer than it normally would, but the end result was exactly, there's no regrets on this one, because a lot of times, I should have did that. Other than maybe one or two notes where I sing off key, but that's just me being, your own worst critic. But,
right.
So that process just took a little bit longer, because we all have lives too. So but we didn't matter because we're not playing any gigs. So
right. Yeah.
Let's get it done, and let's get it done right. And I'm telling you, it's by far the best album I've put out of my own stuff.
Yeah,
without a doubt. And the way that the bandmates that I have now are just the most reliable people, and just so hardworking. And I send them the songs, and they learn the songs, and there's no drama. And it's just, I feel like I got myself together, and then all of a sudden the right people organically found their way. You know what I mean? Instead of fighting and struggling, now it's just I'm down a different path, and all these people found me on that path that probably wouldn't have found me had I had not, quit drinking and partying all the time. So right. I'm very grateful. I'm so grateful right now awesome. for every part of my life that since I put that bottle down, it's been obviously it's been life changing, but it's the best thing by far, and the best decision I've ever made.
Cool. Well, I think everyone did a hell of a job on this because the album turned out great.
I agree.
It's really cool, man. I love it. And I love this next tune. It's called Jacqueline. The live performance that you did, oh man, you just killed it. It was fantastic. Seriously, I love that tune. And this one kind of has more of a little bit, maybe like an R&B influence or Motown feel to it. Yeah.
It was. I was going for an Otis Redding kind of sound.
Cool.
But more kind of keeping it country, like having a pedal steel.
Right.
I thought was. How do you make it more country? Oh, throw a pedal steel on it.
Right.
Obviously. But and then I added some horns. Actually, a guy from Winona, Gary Ernst. I don't know if I said his last name, but he's a band director. Either at the middle school in Winona. He actually wrote the horn part for me.
Oh, really?
Cool. Yeah, Gary Ernest.
Okay, I know him. Yeah.
Bob Ogren, my buddy. My bass player fixes horns at Lighthold, and Bob Ogren is one of the a legendary horn repair guy. So he reached out to Gary for me, and Gary did me a huge favor. And then Bob and Diedrich, my bass player, Bob played sax, and Diedrich did the trumpet part.
Oh, cool.
And I was just going for that exactly that Motown R&B. Trying to keep this album not strictly country. I tried to jump off the beaten path a little bit, but still keeping those country vibes alive in it, like the pedal steel and the fiddle and stuff.
Totally. Well, it's got a nice cohesive country feel to it, but there's like it ventures out, like this tune, it's got that kind of, like you said, Otis Redding,
Yeah.
I love that. That's interesting. Gary Ernest was my junior high band director. So
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, pretty cool. Small world, awesome. For sure. Well, let's hear it. Let's play it for people. This is Jacqueline from Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball's new album called True Story. And we're talking to Gregg Hall today. So let's check this tune out. It's Jacqueline right here on The Sound on 89.5 KQAL Winona.
She's a woman. No. She's a lady.
And that was Jacqueline. That's from Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball's new album called True Story. And we have Gregg Hall on the phone with us today. Gregg, I love, we were just talking about that tune and, the horn parts in it and the feel to it. I also love the organ in that one. I'm a big fan of the organ. And the whole band sounds great, too. And you kind of touched on this a little bit, how it fell together, but how did you put together the Wrecking Ball specifically? Like, did you have to really try, or did they just come to you?
Yeah, well, we've been a band since 2013, and there's only me and one other guy from that original lineup. So it was just like, that's just how bands work. You find different people. But this specific lineup, it just kind of happened. I don't really know how it happened.
Cool.
People come and go. Like, I kept Lon Braithwaite, my main guitar player, and like my number two guy. He kind of his riffing is more country sounding than my own.
Okay.
So I could like write a riff and then show it to him, and he kind of make it his own and really establish my songwriting with his guitar playing. Like
cool.
the telly chicken picking, almost kind of Buddy Holly sounding tone. That and I've just kept him, and then everybody else kind of gone. My friend, one of my keyboard players just passed away. Johnny Peterson. He's from Winona. He played with Kenny Chesney and Vern Gosden and Patty Loveless and all these really famous people in the late '80s, early '90s down in Nashville. And this guy could play. Oh my God! Like. Every time he did a solo, he got a standing ovation. And then he passed away about a month and a half ago.
Oh wow!
Or so. So we're missing him, but Lisa Friesen kind of came in because he had been sick, and then Lisa kind of just joined the band. She was in this band called Slow No Wait, and we did a Beatles tribute together, and then she fit right in, and she's been doing great. And I liked featuring her. I tried to feature everybody at least in one song on the album, and that was definitely the one where I like how it peaks and then it breaks into her solo, and she just keeps it nice. And she's almost like, our own Bobby Nelson in a way. Like she's just this little petite thing, but with a very cool sound, you know.
Yeah, totally. Love it.
And it never hurts to have a pretty girl in the band. You know?
Right. That's true.
But she's a workhorse, man. She comes in, she knows her stuff, and she lays it down. And I'm really proud of. She's came up, definitely getting really familiar with the songs. Like I was watching some of her stuff solos on some Saturday because I couldn't hear everything she was doing. You know, from where I was sitting. Holy cow, she sounded good. So.
Cool. Well, let's. The next tune I want to play is actually the first single, I believe, "Glow," and you have a video out for that one. You can see that on YouTube. Just look up Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball, "Glow."
Yep.
How did the video come about? Like, who produced it? How'd you go about doing it? What was it like?
The guy Michael. I'm gonna say his last name wrong. Michael Colerico. Dylan Overhaus. Dylan Overhaus is a good friend of mine, and he's done some. Work for me in the past, and he's done a lot of work for a lot of local musicians. But we got together, and I gave him this premise about how exactly I wanted this video to flow. With the Alexandra, she's been singing in the band now. We had our first gig with her, and her partner KQAL plays fiddle on it too.
Cool.
So I wanted to have the storyline, and then we put it together. And he goes, "Hey, well, you know, we could bring in my friend Michael and boost it up for a little bit more money, but we can really make it, you know." I'm like, all right, let's do it. So then we did the first half, and then of course COVID hit, and then we had to get it done because Alex and Kale are having a baby, so she was starting to show, so we had to get the video done before she was, you know, because now she's, you know, 5-6 months pregnant. I'm not sure, but so we had to get it done, and then it turned out really well, and it's just how I envisioned it looking, and then having these guys come in and share their ideas and the camera angles and the drone shot from the bluff, like it turned out awesome.
Yeah, dude.
So, and I'm working with it reminds me, I need to do this with Tinderbox Music out of the cities too. We're gonna try doing some YouTube stuff, and they're gonna help me distribute the album on some of these independent stations across the country. So that's kind of the next move here, because what else can we do? We can't play.
Right.
So might as well use the interweb.
Exactly.
You know? And I don't know anything about it. I am old school, dude. Like I can barely check my email. So bringing these guys in to, hey, we'll do it like this. Okay. I have no idea what you're talking about. But I trust you.
Yeah, things have changed, haven't they? I was at a stoplight the other day, and I noticed the telephone pole and all the old staples in it and stuff, and there's no flyers left on it. You know.
Yeah.
You know, in the old days, they were covered.
And it's like, is that the days of hanging up flyers? I mean, are flyers almost obsolete?
I don't know. I hope not. I love them.
I don't know. Me too. But my problem is my friend Carrie Staley, she makes them so good that people steal them all the time. Like we did this Pink Floyd tribute once. Every single one of them will get stolen. I'm like, all right, well, you got to tone it down, I guess. Make it more informative than mind-blowing.
Right.
You know?
Oh, that's cool, though. People are seeing them. Well, the people who take them.
Yeah, they're seeing them. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, let's check it out. This next tune is called Glow. This is from Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball's new album called True Story. And you are listening to The Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL Winona.
That girl makes me glow. I take her everywhere I go. And I tell her all the time, girl, I'm so happy that you're mine. That girl makes me glow. She's the only one for me. The only face I want to see. Each and every single day, I hope she'll never go away. She's the only one for me. In her eyes I see from miles, and every time that girl smiles sends chills up my spine. It happens to me every time. In her eyes I see for miles.
And that was Glow from Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball. That's off their new album called True Story. And we have Gregg Hall on the phone with us today. Greg, so what's up next for Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Ball?
Well, we have a gig coming up at the end of the month up in Brooklyn, Wisconsin.
With Wade Jennings.
We're opening up for Wade Jennings, Waylon's grandson, at the Meyer Barn. Yeah, I met this guy Andy Meyer. Man, he's a go-getter. He's got the Main Street Music and More in downtown Brooklyn. But he's also got this out of this place that calls it the Meyer Barn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's out on his land, and you want to talk about a party barn. This is the coolest party venue I've ever seen in a barn. But I think the show is going to be outside, because of COVID. But
right.
We did a show. I played with Bill Miller up there, the Wrecking Ball. We opened up for him, and this play. I mean, it's so cool. It's like a country music video.
Oh.
This play, and he owned an antique store too. So he's got it done up. Super awesome. And then Spirit Wind Fest, I believe it's called.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Andy, if I'm saying that wrong. But it's that weekend. Bill Miller's playing. Wade Jennings is playing. There's a bunch of good bands playing up there. So he's got a good thing going on, and he's got a lot of room. So I mean, it's real spread out. It's real pretty COVID friendly atmosphere, and they're just good people trying to do something. He's just trying to make his little town, put him on the map, and he's a hard worker, and he's just trying to, I have so much respect for him, and he was a Dees Fest sponsor last year, and I just met him. He's really good friends with Bill Miller, so it's like this growing. It's just nice being a musician around here and having all these little communities that you can go and hang out.
Right.
Like the White Iron Band's Entourage in Minnesota. It's like this, like brother and sisterhood of just these, just good people,
Right.
like wherever you go. It's like this entourage of just, people that would take a bullet for you, bend over back, take the shirt off, and then there's all these, like the Midwest, man, everybody's cool. There's no big egos or anything like that. We're all in it together. And I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but right here, I mean, that's part of what keeps me here, too. Like, I can actually make a living playing just a few gigs a week and teaching and living in this beautiful spot, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to live here, and it's, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know where I was going with this tangent.
Well, it's got that, the Midwest has that kind of down home, like you said, like a brotherhood, sisterhood feeling, where, yeah, and I think that comes through in the music with everyone, you guys, White Iron, So totally. Speaking of White Iron Band, anything new on that front? Because you play with them too.
Matt, our lead singer, guitar player, is. We've been working on some newer tunes with him. Trying to maybe take it a different direction. We just got done. We recorded up at Pachyderm last weekend. With Chad Staley produced it. And it was me and Sammy Wyatt and Matt Putis from White Iron. Then we had Timmy from Trampled by Turtles.
Nice.
On bass, and then we had JT Bass, this killer drummer from Twin Cities, and it was awesome. More of a rock and roll,
really
sounding. Those tunes that we did anyway. But Matt is by far the best songwriter I know, like that I've ever actually met. That guy can write songs, and that's why I've always been a huge fan of White Iron Band before I joined the band. Like, I literally joined my favorite band of all time.
Awesome.
Like, I'm in my favorite band.
Right.
Because the songs that he writes, and Sammy Wyatt is the best guitar player I've ever seen.
Nice.
I mean, he has this natural ability to play unlike I've ever heard anybody. I mean, it's mind-blowing. Like, I will have a song and I need a riff for it. For months I work on a riff. He can come in on the first, and play this perfect, and he's so humble. Like,
awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, he's this dude that works on VWs that lives out in the country, and it's just, it's just unbelievable. Like, his presence and aura is just,
That's
just,
awesome.
Just a cool guy to be around. Like I feel like a better person when I hang out with Sam.
Right on.
You know, and
man.
it definitely makes me a better guitar player. I still riff from him religiously. You know? And it makes me step up my game because
yeah.
you know, it was a rude awakening being 25 and playing around here and then going up to the cities.
Right.
Like, oh my God, I am not that good. You know what I mean? It was like a wake-up call. Oh, dude, step it up.
But that's why you surround yourself with people like that, right? You know, I mean,
exactly.
It helps you learn.
Like Joey Price and Howard Guitar Lutke and Sam, like them guys.
Totally.
It's like a paid guitar lesson every time we do a gig.
Right.
You know, and I get to grew up watching these, like Joe Price and Howard. I've been watching those guys since I was like 3, playing with those guys.
Oh, cool.
I mean, it's pretty cool that that you get to do that, you know. But anyway.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we're about out of time here, so we're going to wrap things up. I want to play one more tune as we go out, but how can people find the new record, True Story, and merch and find out about shows?
DeeceProductions.com, DEECE Productions.com. We have a merchandise, the Deece store, it's called. You can get T-shirts, lighters, CDs, and then Spotify, iTunes, Apple. It's out on all the digital platforms.
Cool.
So.
Awesome. Well, I highly recommend everyone go check out Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Balls album, True Story. We've played a lot of it today, but there's still other tunes to discover, so check it out.
Yep.
DeeceProductions.com.
And then and GreggHallMusic.com.
Okay, and GreggHallMusic.com. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us today, Greg. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you.
For sure. And I can't wait to see you guys again. I might see you at that show at the Meyer Barn. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, man. It's going to be, we got room in the bus. If you want to jump on,
awesome.
You're welcome to it.
I might take you up on that.
All right, buddy.
All right, cool, man. Well, this is Sober in October. This is from Gregg Hall and the Wrecking Balls' new album, True Story. Pick it up at DeeceProductions.com. Thanks so much, Greg. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy.
All right. Thanks, man.
Woke up on Monday, thought it was Sunday, turns out it's Wednesday again. I must have had a good time with the whiskey and wine and the beer, the rum and the gin. I've been rolling with the devil on a whole new level, my whole damn world's a sin. But now it's October, maybe I should get sober and try to start over again. Well, I'm finally getting sober in October, after years of being drunk and stoned and wild. Well, I'm finally getting sober in October, and I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Thanks again to Gregg Hall for joining us today on The Sound. For more information on Greg and his new album, True Story, go to GreggHallMusic.com or DeeceProductions.com. For more deep dives into local and regional albums, tune into The Sound every Wednesday night at 6 right here on 89.5 KQAL. I'm Bill Stoneberg, and we've just heard from Gregg Hall with his new album, True Story, on The Sound. Thanks for listening to The Sound. The Sound is produced by KQAL-FM on the campus of Winona State University. Visit us online at kqal.org. Theme music for The Sound provided by Mike Terrell of Fires of Denmark.